images. I showed him how our photographers work, and he shared his tips with me. Because for a person like him, if we hire him as a consultant, he'll be able to share his wisdom with us. And he had a lot of disconnect with many of our supervisors' works. I'll talk about that later, some time else, because first I want to discuss this with Owen, uh, and we will discuss about it. However, it's good to know that Kate, sorry, uh, what is her name? What is his name?
Ketevan and Kate
Kate,
Lowry.
no, the
Georgian
Georgie A are doing
tourniquet.
good jobs.
Georgian tourniquet.
But
Georgie and
tourniquet. But
Tornike.
guys, be a
And
little understanding.
and
My
they
my
do
only
good
concern.
jobs, Abid. He said
Who?
this.
We'll talk about that
Deepak.
later. Georgi,
Deepak keeps
we'll talk
saying
about
that.
that later.
Okay.
So, guys, we are talking many topics about Georgie and Tornike. How was their work yesterday? Deepak was saying that it was good, or I did not understand.
He
Better,
said
not
it's
perfect.
okay,
Better.
not very good.
Yes.
So it was not very good.
And in the gardens of Bipin, he both are doing great in the gardens of Bipin. We want without guidance anyone. If writer have much better skills, so they
He wants to
don't need
say,
to any guidance. I think
he wants to
from
say
the
that
live jobs.
whatever they have edited before, they showed me on Google Drive first, and I tell them that this is the correction which still needed in those on that other images. They have done it, and it was all okay after that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, see, this is speaking about communication. This is a simple question. How was the performance yesterday for the live jobs? This is the first time when they had live jobs.
It
Fine.
is good, by the way.
Good.
Yeah.
So
It is not an okay job. It is good, by the way. Good if we see a person first time doing a live job and on the bronze property. So it
okay.
was good. Yeah.
It was acceptable.
Yeah,
Yes,
it is.
acceptable.
Okay, good.
For bronze jobs.
Yes, on bronze jobs.
Okay.
Yes. Good.
So, Deepak,
Let's move on.
simultaneously, you also have to keep in mind that, and you have to share this with the supervisor, respective supervisors, not today, not later on, but whenever you're having your meet with the supervisors,
Yes, yes.
how you feel as the QA that these guys can improve. So how they move from bronze jobs to to silver, and from silver to gold.
Good.
I already told the supervisors about his editors
Good.
every
Good.
time.
Keep on doing it. Yeah. So shall we continue with our train the trainer
Okay.
session? We're
Yes,
already
sure.
5-6 minutes late. Okay, guys, what did we discuss last week in the train the trainer session? Grey Rose.
The principles
Of
adult
Learning.
adult learning. Okay. What is adult learning otherwise called? Arun?
Yes, bhai.
Georgi? What is the other word for adult learning?
18 plus.
Nope. That is adult movies. What is children's learning called?
Pedagogy, guys.
ped-
What is the
Pedagogy.
opposite?
pedagogy,
What is the
Pedagogy.
opposite of that?
Now, what is the opposite of pedagogy?
adogogy,
Pedagogy.
Andragogy.
Andragogy. Very good.
yes.
So today we will start off by talking more about, and we'll learn a little bit more about both the goggies. And I don't mean Gogliko and his twin brother. Okay, guys. So let me. Uh, these are part of understanding learning methodologies. Can you see the screen, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Andragogy versus pedagogy. Adult learning is called andragogy. Children's learning is called pedagogy. Now, in our training, do we have in our teams, when we are teaching people or where we are training people, are we using andragogy or pedagogy?
Andragogy.
Andragogy.
Nope.
Andragogy.
Why are we not using andragogy?
Because they are adult learning.
They are independent already.
Okay, remember what I had told you guys, that when we have classroom training,
Okay.
the identification is usually student learning methodology. But anyway, let us go through the salient or the major uh, learning factors. Then you will be able to understand our methodology of explanation or training, or even not necessarily in training, as supervisors. I'm changing my topic a little bit because I'm going to encompass both supervisors as well as trainers. So we'll understand the principles. Because you understand the principles, you'll be able to do a lot of things better. That's why in our formative years, we teach students the numericals: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we teach them the basics of subtraction, addition, and what else do we teach them?
Multiplication, division.
Very good. And Ridhima, besides you, is nobody else understanding what I'm telling them?
They need to answer that.
Yeah, I'm asking the rest of the team. If there is addition, there is subtraction. The next thing has to be division.
Multiplication, I think, is the proper one.
Multiplication. That is the reason why we had this show called "Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?" We become adults, but we forget our basics. But anyway, if you know your basics properly, remember, you should constantly go back and talk about your and learn or relearn your basics. If you learn your basics, believe me, nothing in life can stop you. The stars the limit. If I would have asked this question from Ella's children, they would have, Ivan would have, Drago would have stood up and he said, "Uncle, you're a fool. Abid, uncle, you're a fool. You don't know your basics." A small child will say that. Anyway, this is going to tell you about the basics of learning and teaching or training. You understand the basics, believe me, it's going to the psychology will help you become better trainers. Why am I talking to you about this? Why are these topics included in Train the Trainers? So that the concept is clear for you. As a trainer, as a supervisor, if the concept is clear in your mind, believe me, you are going to be successful. So, Bipin, can you read the adult learning or andragogy parameters?
Yeah. Learners are called participants or learners.
Second point.
Independent learning style. Objectives are flexible. It is assumed that the learners have experience to contribute. Active training methods are used. Learners influence timing and pace. Participant involvement is vital. Learning is real life learning is real life problem centered. Participants are seen as primary resources for ideas and examples.
Very good. Thank you, Bipin. Claps for you. Deep, can you read the next part?
Yeah, pedagogy is student learning. So the first point is the learners are called students. Second one, dependent learning style. And the third one, objectives are predetermined and the inflexible. The fourth one is it is assumed that the learners are inexperienced and or uninformed. And the fifth point is passive training methods such as lecture are used. And sixth point, trainer controls timing and pace. The seventh one is participants contribute little to the experience. And the eighth one is learning is content centered. And the last one, the trainer is seen as the primary resource who provides ideas and examples.
Okay. Ridhima,
Yes.
now on the basis of both the learning styles, which is more apt for us as a business?
I guess we have to merge both depending upon, I mean, who is the candidate, because we have a merge of experience, intermediate, and the fresher editors with us. So we ideally have to merge few of them.
Very good. What are the points that from Andragogy which are important to our parameter?
Uh,
Let's start one by one. Let's
Yeah.
take point number 1. Learners are called participants or learners. Are they
Participate
valid?
Participation is must. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Point number 2, independent learning styles. Is it
If
is
they're
it
bringing, yeah, if they're bringing something good on table, so why not? Trainers can learn from that.
great? Very good. Third, objectives are flexible.
I don't think so.
Good. Now let me take up somebody else. Angelica is number 4. Point number 4. Important to our line of business or our line of knowledge dissemination.
Yes.
Okay. What? Why?
Um, as a learner, we should have the experience to contribute. I mean, as a example, as a supervisor, I should have the experience to contribute to the learners.
We are talking about trainees here. Okay, as or
Okay, the
batches.
trainees.
So it is assumed that the learners have experience to contribute. Okay, as a supervisor, yes, we have to assume that. But as a trainer, do we assume that our learners have experience to contribute, or do we start them from the beginning?
Yeah, I agree.
We have to assume
Correct.
as a business. What do we have to assume, guys?
So think about many of you participate to second trials, make connections with that.
Yeah, because we only we only appoint those persons who actually have the knowledge of the what work we are doing. That's the
Exactly.
reason it's the right one.
Of the tools, of the tools.
Yeah, of the tools. Yeah.
But remember, tools is totally is a means. But what is our business philosophy? Even a person who comes in, this is what we tell a person. 99% of the time we tell a person, even if he has basic knowledge about what we do, we tell them you're going to start with us as a fresher. I believe everybody in this room, or most of everybody in this room, has begun in London stock photography or photo guru as a fresher. Okay, so we will discuss this point later. These are points of discussion for you to understand. Angelica, point number 5. Do you think it's valid? Active training methods are used.
Yes, Abid, but it depends on the trainee, like their capability of understanding of the methods.
What is active training method? What does everybody understand by the meaning of active training method?
Come on,
ये
trainers.
जो हमारे मतलब हम अभी सिखाने के लिए जो यूज करते हैं करंटली एक्टिव है जो हमारे हम अभी यूज में लाते हैं मेथड को
That's
अपने
not active. That is not
Is it
active.
What is happening now on the screen? Is it active or passive? This meeting, is it active
Group-based.
learning or passive?
Very good point. Ella, this is the same thing that I wanted to talk to them. Believe me, I wanted to say the same
This
thing.
is active because
Active.
we
Very
have
good.
all we have
Very good.
communication.
Okay.
All of us.
Very good.
It's
So
group-based.
guys, active. So this is an active training method because you get to answer.
Hmm.
An active training method can be coupled with an unexperienced learner. Point 5
good
with
point.
point 4. You have a batch of freshers that have no experience. Can you use an active training method with them?
No.
You can't.
No,
Because-
you can, very limited.
No.
Ask
Yes.
basic, very
Yes,
basic
of course.
question. So the training method, it has to be the active or passive linked with the knowledge. You can
Mhm.
ask questions if they think they know. If you ask questions and they don't know, then you just make them feel bad.
Feel bad. Yes.
And remember, guys, it's very
Yes.
important for you to judge the behavior of your trainees or your team members. If, as a supervisor, as a trainer, you are not able to understand the emotional needs, all of this is linked to emotional intelligence. We'll talk about that in depth later. Emotional intelligence, you as a supervisor, as a trainer, has to understand a person's emotional intelligence. We'll talk about that. But what Ella says makes sense. If a person does not know about a thing, we cannot be involving them in discussing or in learning. It has to be a download. It cannot be a two-way exchange.
Yes.
Now let's
So
Georgi, point number
Yes.
6.
Yeah. Learners
Yeah.
influence timing and pace. This is
Is it does your trainee, your batch, if you are a trainer, does
yeah.
your trainer, your learner,
Yeah.
direct or does that person's uh, or rather, let me put it this way, does he influence what you are about to teach, or does he influence, or his does he kind of guide you of what you have to teach, or his participation? Do you teach according to what they want, or do you teach to a predetermined uh, curriculum that you have in mind? Now let me break this down, let me explain it.
Mm-hmm.
just
Do
a second,
we
Abhi. Do you see that I have started the subtitles?
Where? I didn't see.
Second trial trainer result.
No,
The
but
comment.
do you see here that because I started,
Oh.
all of you, please take a moment, go to the three dots that you have on the screen on this meet, at more options,
Yes.
and
Captions.
at captions, at English.
Yeah,
Yes. I always want.
it's already on.
Okay. It's already on. Okay.
Yes.
Because it's easier for you to follow the conversation if you have also writing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, good. Sorry, Abid. Go on.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Before me going forward, you had a question, Ridhima?
Ridhima, you are on mute.
Sorry, guys. Just an example. I mean, if this can be helpful for everyone regarding the point number fifth that we have discussed and fourth. Right now, what Bipin is doing with the Georgian team, it will be helpful for everyone if you can explain the same method to every trainer and every supervisor, please. At least I would want you to, in a very brief discussion.
You want me to explain that, or you want Bipin to explain it?
Bipin.
Whosoever can explain it better, it will be helpful for everyone. Bipin, if you could.
I have to explain what the process.
Yeah, the process.
So
What you are doing.
what you are doing and why it has been successful, Bipin.
Okay. So, whenever I have to edit an image, okay, I always like put depth into that images. It is not like that I'm going to make a whitewash kind of images, okay. And whenever I have to edit an image which is having issues, which is producing issues, like well, let's say if we have dark photos, okay, in that one, if I have both the version like light and dark, both have issues. We are getting more grains into the lighter version. I always go for second option. I see like how I can get the right kind of quality out from that. Even the image which is not of like we cannot edit much more in that one. How I can get the quality out from that? So I found I just always go for second option. And this is what the issue is, like people are, they just want to follow only single process. And in that one, if they find issue, but still they have to go with same process, because they only have to work out. Okay, they don't want to get rid of the main issue in that one, in single image in that one. Like Abhi said that yesterday we are meeting together. What I said to you, that peoples are actually not not going for the second option, and they are not treating that particular issue, like how they can overcome that particular issue, that how they can resolve it. So they never go for it. They always tell that okay, this is the issue caused by the Lightroom. I cannot like you know make the right kind of quality out from that particular picture. So these are the issues. So this is like how I do editing at last. So this is the only thing I can share. Like,
Okay, thank you, Vipin. This was the technical thing that you're teaching them.
yeah,
The process, how you are doing it, I guess that is more useful for the trainers to actually study. Like how you're sharing your screen, how much images that are you showing, what type of images are you showing, how you're starting with them, how you're communicating with them, which is helping them out.
right. So see, whenever the time when I started training Georgian candidates from the last week, what I've done, first of all, in the morning, I always bring out the images from the raw, which are actually dark, which have more issues, which have too much of color cast. I get 10 images from every single. I see all the live jobs and get 10 images out from all the jobs, just 10 images, and that have like every single issue in that one. Then when my meet comes in, I just go into that one and I start from the scratch of editing, like how I can actually deal with that photo. And it is not that I have to go by the same process. I tell them second option too, that how you can resolve the issue by this second option. If first option is failing, keep on failing, you can go to the second option. So I have shown that one also, and like told them the real issues into the photos, that what is actually happening and what you are getting out. Okay, so I just go and edit two photos, two or three photos on screen. I share screen which is already shared with all the candidates. They see. I even in between the live session, I question them, please ask me questions now, because later on it would be of no use. Now you can clear your doubts, it would be good for you. So they keep on asking me that, Bipin, how you have done this, can you please show me again that why you are doing this and how this color cast you have taken out. So all the issues are sorted in that particular call. It is not about that I am taking like 40 minutes to edit that single image, one image. It is about that I'm deeply resolving the issues, like
Very good.
going to every single part of the image, telling them why, how that can be corrected, what else work you can do in that one. So this is how I do it.
Yeah.
That,
So
that's a very good.
I summarized for you in the chat. Bipin was showing them live with screen share two options of editing. They were editing and he was correcting them then live on the spot. Right?
Yeah.
So the power of correcting the trainee or the live editor live, it's very strong. It has been proven for Bipin with Bipin to work out really well, because the mistake and the failure remains into the mind of the person, and he will not repeat the mistake. So this was a process that Bipin shared with you. You can apply it for training and for live editors as well.
This one last thing I want to join with the last sentence, that after that, when I give them time and tell them to complete all the rest of the images, when they are completed, I'm not telling them to do the correction on it. I am myself correcting the images and showing them what result they are producing and what correction is required. So in that way, they will understand. Because if you will tell some person verbally that this area needs light, this area thing, they will never understand. You just do the correction by yourself on at least 6-7 images. They will definitely understand. So this is what I was like following throughout the process.
Yes. And I think this is very good. This is for teaching purposes. So supervisors, do not correct the rejections yourself. Only for teaching, when you want to teach them, right? Show them how it is done. Showcase them, because you remember a person that have a lot of will and doesn't have skill. You can ask them 100 times to edit correctly. If they don't have the skill, they don't have the skill. So you have to show them the skills. Show them the skills. This is what Bipin did. Okay.
Thank you so
Guys,
much,
are
Vipin.
you
It was very helpful.
confused about it, or why is there so much of silence?
No, we are not confused.
Great.
Yes.
So, what Bipin did, is it andragogy or pedagogy, guys?
Andragogy.
Why?
And pedagogy.
Okay, so if it's not andragogy, it has to be pedagogy. But why? Understand the principle. What did Bipin do?
It's active learning.
It's active learning, or is it passive learning?
Active, active.
Active.
Uh,
Of course, active.
As
What Bipin is doing is Bipin has opened up his screen, and Bipin is working on an image, and Bipin is explaining methods to people.
Yes.
Is it?
Correct? So
Yes.
Bipin is what Bipin is saying, and this is exactly what Bipin is doing with me.
And also Bipin is learning it's problem
And
centered.
exactly. So Bipin is saying, see, now for example, I am Bipin, and I have opened up a image, and Bipin is working on the image and says, see, this is what I have to do. I have to take my mouse on this particular place. I see that this particular picture is too dark. Do you see that in the original image that there is darkness here, 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 here? What we need to do now is we have to lighten this image. So what do we do? What do we do is we do HDR. And once we do the HDR, we do not, and this is again, I'm not going into theory. We do not go to the left hand side of the corner of the Lightroom panel, and we do not click auto. That is wrong. This will not give us the right image. It will distort the image, and later on it will show, it will come up with a lot of problems, because at that particular time, if we need to do uh, when we need to do mid toning, that picture will become will become more bad. It will be too light, etc, 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 etc. So this method is Bipin explaining. Now take this method and take another method in the classroom. A teacher is doing is explaining Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem. She's writing on the note on the blackboard. Pythagoras was a man who lived in 20,000 BC. Blah 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 blah. This is what he did. This is what he did not do. So what is the difference between both of these methods? Or what is the similarities in both these methods?
They both teaching.
Okay.
there is
That the audience is receptive. The learner is receptive. There is one person who is giving,
This is passive method, guys. Yeah?
and that person is taking.
Yes, he's not contributing.
He
The
is not
student is not
contributing.
contributing.
He may have subject matter knowledge. If I am Georgi A and Bipin is teaching me, so Bipin is teaching me a set principle or method that there is a curriculum there. Tomorrow, if Lalit is going to give feedback to one of his team members, for example, like Lalit is giving me, I am Prashant. Prashant, you know what you did? Your image is like this. This is what you did with your image, but this is this, this is this, this is it. Ideally, what you should have done is this, 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 in order for it to be this, this, this. Are you understanding the concept? So this is a
Yes.
download. But if Prashant contributes back, I'm Prashant. Lalit, this is not this. I did this because of this. I did this because of this. And then Lalit tells me, no, Prashant, what you did is good, but this is something which will be the outcome of your method. What you should have done, or what should be beneficial to you, is do this, 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 this. And Prashant, it also could be that you can use this method. However, this method is longer. This what I told you earlier is a shorter method, but the results are the same. Now I am Prashant. That's okay, Lalit. I have understood. Next time I will do this. So this is again not an active. What like Ella said, this is a passive.
This is passive.
You have to understand the subject matter, the subject matter of what you are disseminating, what you are teaching, or what you are training, or what feedback you're giving.
Okay.
I just want to make a link between why it's important to know if the teaching is active or passive, and it's applicable to both supervisor or, because this is a theoretical concept, and you might ask, why do I need to know if it's active or passive? Why do I care? You care because before starting the teaching, if you know you have an active teaching, this means that you have an expectation that the trainee or the editor will respond. If you have this expectation, you will engage with them and you will ask them questions. If you think 2 minutes before meeting with that person, what am I doing here? I'm trying to teach them a passive method. It means that you're the one that is talking, they are listening. So for you, it's important to know if you're doing an active or a passive, because you make the plan in your mind. According to the plan, you ask them questions or you don't ask them questions. And this process of thinking, if it's a passive or an active, why am I doing this, helps you to get better results. You understand? Bipin did this because he noticed that this is the better method to be passive. They needed for Bipin to see him working, and he applied this. You might have an experience for a gold editor, for example. If Lalit spends time with the gold editor, it might be an active teaching, because Lalit will say to him, and the editor might reply, say, no, I don't agree, I do this and that and that. So this is why it's important to know if it's active or passive, because in your mind, you can plan better, okay? In your day-to-day activity, when you enter into a conversation, that's it. Not because of the sake of the concept. Abid is teaching you the concept because you have to understand that you have to plan it in your mind. What is passive, active? What am I expecting for them? To answer or to be quiet?
Guys, everything has to be planned. Without plan,
good,
nothing is made.
Let's
God
move on.
made the world in 7 days.
Yeah.
It is a planned method. Everything is planned. And if you see the next 3 parameters, learners influence timing and pace, participant involvement is vital, learning is real life problem centered, and participants are seen as primary source of ideas and examples. And if you see the contra, the pedagogy method, you will see and understand.
I have a
Trainer
question.
controls the training and pace.
I have a question from Greiros Gheorghe Arun.
Yes.
You have 2 types of training, basic training and the other one is?
Experience.
Developmental training.
Say again?
Basic skills and foundation skills. Do you mean this?
Foundation or
Yes,
developmental?
Gheorghe, this is why.
Okay.
In basic skills, which are the first 2 weeks.
Pedagogy, near the pedagogy, and another is in the andragogy.
Exactly. So in the first 2 weeks, you have passive teaching because you teach them the concept. And in the next 4 weeks, what you have? Active, because you can start asking them questions and engaging them.
Correct.
Yeah?
Yes.
Boom. Okay, great. So then you can, before starting the day as a trainer, what am I doing today? 9 day, passive. I have to teach them. What am I doing today? I'm in the 18th day. Active. I have to engage with them. Ask the trainees to think. Okay?
Okay.
And more so ever,
Yes.
everything is content driven. It is not is content driven. If you're teaching, if you're going to be talking about uh, say for example item removal, so there is a content, there is a subject, and you would be training them on, in foundation you will be training them on the issues that they have not learned. So here it is a blended learning approach. It is not only andragogy or pedagogy, it is a blended method. What Ridhima early said, that we use both pedagogy or andragogy, it is a blended method.
Yeah.
Pa- Participants involvement is important because they will not able to understand.
How
Ella
can,
segregated it, sorry.
how can you use this passive or active learning to assess your trainees? If you are in the 5th week of training, 5th,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
you're the only one talking, this means that this is passive learning. This means that their experience is 0. So it can be a good indication for you guys where your trainees are. If in the last week of training, you're the only one talking, there is no active sharing, there is no experience sharing, there is no questions, there is nothing, this means that these guys are 0. I mean, they are not
Zero
there.
learning.
Yeah. So this is, notice yourself how your day is going. If you're talking to a person and they don't reply back, what does it mean? Either they are not interested, either they don't know. So
You're not keeping them engaged, is what
or
Ella
you're
is
not
trying to
keeping
say.
them engaged. So anyway, this is a signal in your mind.
Yes.
But when you finish the day as a trainer, you say, what have I done today? Okay, these guys have been blank today. They have not contributed. This is a signal in your mind where they are in terms of knowledge, behavior, and so on. The same for the supervisor.
Supervisors.
Yeah, if you talk to an editor and he's like, and you're the only one passive learning, and you do this 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 7 times on the same topic, it means that they have nada, 0. If they don't reply back, this is a good indication that they have not learned. So again, another way to use passive and active to your advantage, to your interpretation, to help you day by day.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you understood the whole concept?
Yes.
Yes.
Andragogy, pedagogy,
Yes.
where you need to have a more blended or both of them together. Because if you understand these methodologies, guys, you really,
Yes, right.
if you understand the principles, it will be making your life much more easier. I'll give you an example. As a trainer, you have a person in foundation, in foundation training, and he is not coming up the curve. He's taking time, or he's not understanding the concepts. Here, if you use the blended method, that you explain to them what Bipin is doing right now. Arun, this is very
Yes, right.
important for you.
Yes, right.
Rose, this is also very important for you.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So if you explain to them, this is what we need to do. Spend more time with your red flags, spend more time with your people in the foundation. Explain the concept. The concept, if they understand, if your batches, if your trainees understand the concept, what will happen? Two things will happen. A, that they are automatically, they will understand what the correct principle or method is. And secondly, since they do not have to spend more time in doing a trial and trial method, you could say, a shoddy job, they will understand the concept and they will be able to improve their speed. So it is one stone, there are two birds. So
Very
a
true.
lot of things can get much more better about it. Your
Yes.
knowledge dissemination, your knowledge you're sharing knowledge becomes easier, and it becomes easier also for the learner, for the recipient. For them also it becomes an easier method. You won't have these kind of blank faces anymore. What is happening? This is totally
Yes.
Greek to me. No.
I have a question for you guys. It's for everybody, supervisors, and
Yes.
think about the 4 quadrants that we discussed in some weeks ago.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
take the problem child. Remember what the problem child was. What was, tell me, how was he, what is the definition of the problem child? He had how much will and how much skill?
He has skill but no will.
Good.
No.
What method is it good to apply with this guy?
Feedback.
Passive or
Passive.
active?
Passive.
Passive. Why, Angelica, passive?
Because he has no skill. So he's like a fresher or a beginner. So we have to.
No, he said that he has a lot of, he has skill, but he has no will.
Will.
Oh, sorry.
Of course, active method is better because push and he can.
Yes. Yes, Georgi. Active is better because he has the skill, so he can answer the questions. And because he is a problem child and he creates problems, it's good to engage him. So he gets attention, he gets response, he feels important that you talk to him and you engage him and you seek for ideas.
Yeah.
Let's take another example. The workhorse. What was a workhorse?
Workhorses has no skills but has to will.
Good.
Actually.
What method is used for that guy?
Passive.
Why?
Maybe both. Because okay, please, girls, and I will test.
Passive because you need to feed him or her the skill. You need to teach him. You need to show him the way how to do it. Exactly.
Yes. And later on, Georgi, when he becomes a little more confident with the skills, you can start the active learning as well.
Active learning and blended.
And blend, yes. What about the dead wood? The person with no will and no skill?
We can't do anything.
Oh my God. Okay, we can try for 6 weeks if they are
We can do passive.
Okay. So with these people, you can try everything, passive, active, whatever you feel that is. But I think, in my opinion, first they need the skill, because without the skill, they cannot move anywhere. And my assumption and what I have met in my professional life is that people that get a little bit of confidence with the skills, they become also more willing to do the job, because they don't feel like, a stupid all the time, a stupid, like speaking Greek all the time, like Abid said, yeah? So primarily what I would do that would is to teach passive learning, skills. Okay? What about the start?
Active.
Yes.
Because he has the potential. He knows everything, so you can discuss him everything.
Right. Okay? Clear?
And before all of the quadrants, what is the primary thing here? As supervisor, or as a trainer, more so ever as a trainer, before the four quadrants, that you as a supervisor or a trainer has to know. The four quadrants come later. The first thing that you have to know is if a person is a visual learner, is an auditory learner, or a kinesthetic learner. In our field, we have to have 99% as a visual learner. However, one of the things that we are failing is we are not catering to the communications part.
Abid, let
We
me,
can't.
sorry, how do you realize, how do you know if a person is a visual learner? How do you test this?
Very good question. A question when a person is a visual learner, he picks up the process, the business by just looking at it. Will not require any explanation. By seeing a particular thing, or by looking at a particular flow chart, he can pick up a lot of things from that. An
Okay, and how,
auditory learner is a person who would need to be explained things.
yes, but,
Besides looking at things, he has to even be explained about it. So it's
and
a
how can we realize about a trainee? You are in the first day of
very
training.
good
How do
question.
you realize?
Yes, very good question. This is something which I had told them earlier also. When you have a new person in your team, being a trainer, being either a trainer or a supervisor, the first thing that you have to do is, through a form of questions, when you get to know them, when you are interacting with them for the first time, you either talk to them, you get close to them, you you have a series of questions, you show a couple of pictures, and you assess what kind of learner are they. Or kinesthetical, the third part, the kinesthetics, a person who needs to have hands-on experience,
Yeah.
needs to physically get into the water and clean the mud.
You
That
know what I'm
person,
asking is because if we need in our company, if we need visual learners, it means that maybe in the second trial, we can test them for this before hiring them.
true.
So,
In our second trial, what is happening? We are not posing them questions. That is something which I want to, remember I have told you we need a
yes,
theory also.
this is a topic for me and you and Ridima maybe and Tata to pick up later. But and also in the first 1-2 days of training, I think you should think, because you're more experienced a bit in this, you should think about some tests that the trainers can do for their trainees to see what type of method is working for them.
Exactly. I have shared this with Sahil
Okay.
earlier,
Okay.
and I have done it with these people, with some of the trainers in my previous trainer sessions. But I can do it for everybody. I'll I'll help you understand the concept of how you understand what type of a learner a person is.
Yeah, not,
The
not only the concept, but show them how it's done, making
I'll
a
show
list
them
of
also.
questions.
What is the logical part behind it?
Yeah, yeah.
I will take you guys across it. So this is probably a topic we can take it up. How to understanding a person learning style.
Yeah.
Once you have that in place, you have the type of person is either he is a problem child or a workhorse or a star. And if you have your methodology, your blended methodology in place, believe me, your training, your feedback, your supervision becomes more cohesive and more efficient.
Yes.
We can discuss that later. We will definitely have a session about that later.
Good.
And I wanted to, well, we are nearly completion. We have less of time. So let me quickly come back to our main topic of today, which is, which one was I on? Give me a minute. Yeah. This. So, so team, have you understand more or less about andragogy and pedagogy and blended learning?
Yes, his habit.
His habit.
Yes.
Next
Yeah.
week, we will talk about a little more about learning methodologies or learning theories.
Yes.
There are different theories out here, this learning styles: left brain, right brain,
Yeah.
intelligence, adaptive learning, cone of
Oh my
experience,
God.
attention span, if we want to do it. 8 learning theories is also another part of it. 70-20-10. There are a lot of things that I have to take you through: sensory or intuitive learning styles, visual, sequential, active or reflective. So I'm just showing this to you. Left brain functions, right brain functions. These are part of multiple. These are part of learning methodologies.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
It looks very interesting.
this is usually a part of when I have a 3-day train the trainer program. This is usually a part of that. But today, we don't have the leeway that I can take you trainers or you supervisors out for a train the trainer for 3 days. A company sponsored the trainer retreat, where you have a lot of interactive sessions, then methodology is taught to you, then lunch is served to you, a 5-course lunch is served to you.
We can have a retreat if we get the money. To get
If
the
we get the
money,
money.
we have to be productive. So
And
first,
believe me, I could,
let's
I
get
could
some money,
perceive
and then
people's thoughts. So as we say, mota mota, or the more conclusive, you could say, state of the nation. This is what we are. This is how we are, and this is what we can get.
yeah.
Bipin, nice to see you back. You had a haircut.
Nice haircut, Vipin.
Bipin's got a haircut.
Say
Okay,
thank
so
you.
what have we understood about the concept? We are usually in a situation where we, as supervisors, we have to be more careful with our teams, with the people who we are giving education to, and we've got to be a little bit more interactive wherever necessary, more proactive. And what is the most important key takeaway from this all? Lalit, what is the most key takeaway of all this?
I think everybody has a takeaway, and it's good to make a round table to see what is their main takeaway.
Correct. My main, if I was in your position, my main takeaway would be planning, plan. Be more proactive and more planning. Georgi, what is your key takeaway of what you have learned here?
I think everything is key, especially andragogy.
Okay, good. Good. Deepak Gupta ji, what is your takeaway?
मैं रिपीट कर मैं थोड़ा काम कर रहा था रिपीट कर दो एक बार क्या पूछ सकते हैं
तेरा टेकअवे क्या है? तुमने क्या सीखा इस चीज से, आज के प्रोग्राम से?
भाई यही सीखा मतलब कि एक तो हिंदी में बता दो कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं है ना
हिंदी में बता दे, स्पीक इन हिंदी, नो प्रॉब्लम।
भाई आपने ट्रेनर सुपरवाइजर के लिए बताया मेन के मतलब किस तरीके से ट्रेनिंग देनी चाहिए, किस तरीके से नए बंदे को हमें मतलब उसे शुरुआत में कोई नया आता है तो किस तरीके से उसे हमें करना चाहिए अपने साथ में, ट्रेन में किस तरीके से उसके साथ सीखना चाहिए, ट्रेन करना चाहिए किस तरीके से उसे, भाई क्या नया आया है तो उसे किस तरीके से सिखाना है, स्टार्टिंग कहाँ से करनी है कि उसे पुराना
तूने
लगे।
क्या सीखा है? मैंने ट्रेनर को तो सिखाया है, मैंने
भाई मेरा
सुपरवाइजर को
एक पॉइंट था,
तूने क्या, व्हाट डिड यू लर्न?
विपिन भाई का एक पॉइंट था मेरे काम का, मैं आपको बताया था।
हाँ,
विपिन भाई ने बोला था कि लास्ट में अगर हम किसी को काम बताते हैं जैसे उन्हें कभी समझ में नहीं आती कई चीज, जैसे सुपरवाइजर को भी कई मुझसे पूछते हैं कि इसमें क्या करना है, वो नहीं समझ पाते, तो मैं खुद करके बताता हूँ करेक्शन, ताकि वो समझे, मैं खुद करता हूँ उस चीज को।
what your takeaway is that you have to be more interactive.
Yes.
Lalit, what is your key takeaway?
My key.
Or let me put it this way, what is just name the most important thing that you learned today. It could be anything. There is no right or no wrong answers, guys.
Yes, anything, guys. Don't worry.
What
Interactive and proactive.
Proactiveness. Very good. Deep, what did you take? What is your key takeaway?
How to use the where to use the training method, like the passive method and the active method.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good. Arun, what is your key takeaway?
He just said proactive.
Arun,
Proactive. Proactive.
proactive. Angelica.
Understanding the types of learning of passive and active learning
Okay,
to
good.
my
Okay, Grey Rose.
The difference of uh, the adult learning and the student learning.
Good.
So I know I can apply it to my training.
For a second, when you said I could apply, I thought you were going to say, so I can apply for a teacher's job now. I can go to school and
No.
become a teacher.
To my
Lalit,
teaching style.
Lalit, you are still left.
But Lalit said it.
No, it was
Lalit said-
Arun. No, it was Arun who said proactive.
Yes.
It was not, wasn't Lalit.
He said. Now, of course, active.
Okay, I thought, my bad. I thought I asked Lalit about it. And now I'm saving the best for the last. Bipin, what is your key takeaway from here?
Bipin, are you there?
सोच के बोले.
Vipin?
Vipin, I think you are on mute.
Before Bipin answers, I will tell you my key takeaway is that Bipin has a haircut, but this is not the key takeaway. The key takeaway is, for me, it's the link between the concepts, the quadrants with the type of learning that apply. And if you know this, then you can plan how to better teach and to spread information as a trainer or as a supervisor. So the link between the concepts, this is my key takeaway.
Very good. Ridhima?
My key takeaway, which would, I mean, if I would at your place, supervisors or trainers, to understand the concept of understanding of your candidate first, and then see where is this problem lacking and to resolve it. Actually, again, the planning and the resolving of the problem in between is your feedback. So whatever Bipin has explained, take all that away. I would suggest that is the reason I asked him to explain to all of you guys in his own technical and theory method, so that you guys can apply that in your daily routine work. So try to do that. It will work with you guys. Trust me.
For me also, for me, Ridhima, a bit, but for Ridhima, you, all the supervisor here have different abilities and different types of learning apply to you as well. So also for myself, when I interact with Abid, when I interact with Ridhima, with you guys or with Owen, I tend to apply different skills and different styles. With Owen, I am more in the passive mode because he is in the passive learning with me. He's all the time talking about technical stuff. And so be also aware of this shift that you make. You are teachers for your team, but you are students here now. So
Yes.
this all the time you move. Yes, and when I'm speaking with Ridhima, I have a certain tone. When I'm speaking with Abid Sayal, another. When I'm speaking with Abid Arshad, another. When I'm speaking with Owen, another. So, and this is something that comes natural. It's instinctive. But sometimes it helps think, what am I doing here? What am I going to take from this? What's my objective here? What I want to obtain? So nothing is by accident. This is what I mean. And if you start doing this every day, asking these questions, you will see improvements like this very fast. And the method that Bipin explained to you about giving feedback right there on the spot, it's a type of learning, a combination of active and passive, depending on the skills, that is very valuable.
Years back, I had one of my training managers, a very good lady, whose name was Ruhina Sayyed. So I asked her to design an MDP, a management development program, on the lines of this. And I have been very keen on the titling, the labeling of a training program. So if you go and see that our TT tree has a name to it, can you see it in your training in your calendars? What is it called? It's called learning effective training skills with impressing niche.
Yep. Then giving training skill
What is
with
the, if you take the first alphabet of every letter, what does it come up to?
The first letter from every word.
Yes, from every word. Learning is L, effective is E.
Win.
E is
Let's win.
let's win. Correct. So I, when I was talking to you, so every training, I myself, this is my habit, and this is journalistically a method that people like to use as trainers. So I like to use cliches, and it is very effective, and it's very lively for your learners.
Yes.
So train the trainer programs or any training program, if you have a name to it, if you give it a name, it is very successful. So I asked Ruhina, she came up with a, excuse me, beautiful plan for an MDP. So I said, give it a name. And she was somebody who already had around 10 years of experience in training. So she deliberated, and then she came up for a similar kind of a training, but it was for managers. So then she came up and with a simple term, and this is going to be very beneficial to all of you all because you all have teams. So she came up with the name of that program as different strokes for different folks. As supervisors, as managers, as leaders, you cannot have the same mindset, continuing what Ella told you, with for every member of your team. You have to be different. Your approach has to be different. Your solutions have to be different.
Yeah. You
For
are the
each
same
member of your team.
person, but you are the same person. You don't
But
fake
you're the
it.
same person.
You don't fake it.
Remember, tomorrow we're going to be learning more about the
Good.
different thinking hats. That is an associated tool. So all our trainings, all our learnings are interlinked. Remember that. So as a
Excuse me a bit.
supervisor,
Can
yes.
I leave? I need to check the practice
Yeah.
jobs.
We are about to
Go
complete it.
Thank
on.
you.
We are going to be completing in 2 minutes. So as supervisors, dealing with other people, you have to have different hats, different methodologies to talk to them, different. You cannot use the same stick with all your sheep. There is a saying in Hindi, in Indian, in Hindi, एक लाठी से सबको गालना. नहीं, you cannot do that. You cannot use the same stick for every sheep. So every
Yes.
sheep has to have a different type of stick. I know
It's
it
the
is
same.
tedious,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's going to be beneficial as supervisors because the more you grow up, your team size decreases. Guys, remember that.
Yeah.
The more you grow up, your team sizes decrease. Your span decreases.
Oh,
Okay,
come on.
indirectly, you may have 500 people in the company, all reporting to you, but your maturity, your
And
team's
responsibilities
maturity,
increases.
responsibilities increase, yes,
I have
but then
500
you
jobs.
are question the responsibilities of the people below you.
Deepak, I have 500 jobs to check.
Go, guys. We have finished this. So this is a key takeaway from this. We learned about the different. Now this is I'm doing a recap
Sum
or a
up,
quick
yeah.
summary of.
Yes, yes.
We learned about the differences between andragogy, pedagogy, the different learning styles,
Pedagogy.
Learning style. Yeah.
and we learned that the ours is a blended approach. It's the most effective. The Bipin, are you back?
No.
Okay, and
He's
it is
using a
very.
different stick for a different ship now. I think, I think he's teaching somebody else something else.
He's probably eating. He's probably
I
eating,
don't know.
or he's talking to Abid because Abid was was away from our meet today. but he is not going to be there. But anyway, so we learned about different styles, and we correlated that with the 4 quadrants, the types of people, and also how we have to be addressing them. In our next training, we will go focus more on these. I have shown you the different characteristics of the adult learning, but I'm not going to go into more of it, because you don't need to know, as of right now, you don't need to know everything about that. So we will learn more topics and what can help you in your day-to-day deliverables.
Sure.
And tomorrow, same time, same place, for supervisor development, we are going to be talking about the balance 3. Balance 3, what, Arun?
Documentation tha na hamara,
No.
next.
We will continue also that. We'll have
Okay,
a
okay.
documentation also. The balance 3 thinking hats.
Thinking hats.
Come on. What are the colors left? Blue,
Six.
white, and?
No, 6 hats.
Yeah, 3 is complete, but 3 is pending.
What colors are left? Okay, we'll talk about that.
Blue,
tomorrow.
blue.
I should go, guys. Sorry.
Everyone,
Bye,
goodbye.
bye, bye.
Bye. I have to
Bye,
go
bye.
and I have to
Bye.
catch up with Bipin and then have my lunch.
Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Ella,
all.
are we going to have 1-on-1 today?
Left.
Yeah, Bipin.
मेरे को आप थोड़ा सा ये मेरे एक्चुअली वो वीडियो बार बार अटक रही है, ये जो बैलेंसिंग थिंकिंग हैट्स थी, इस पे मुझे रिवाइज देते ना छोटा सा ब्रीफ व्हेनेवर यू स्टार्ट.
Definitely.
Okay.
Goes without saying.
So that's fine. And जो ट्रेनिंग का आपने बोला था, साहिल एंड मी वर एक्चुअली फॉलोइंग द क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर